How's that? Is that better? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone see me? I don't know where I am. Oh, God. Crikey. You just crashed. Okay, let's see if you've got anything to say to me, like get your act together, woman, or something like that. Put your thumb up. Everyone do thumbs up if you can hear me okay, because I don't seem to be able to. Because at the moment I've got 2 thumbs up. Oh, God, Deb, hello. I can see and hear you. So good. Thank you. Am I sideways? Am I the right way? Sorry, I think I dropped the phone on your head and just about knocked everything off. So welcome. As if you haven't worked that out, because I don't even have a clue what I'm doing, right? I've got Dr. Google open over there, and I've got things to talk about. So thanks, Deb. Right way up. I've got things to talk about, and so I hope you're ready for a chit chat on a Saturday night. Or Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon, or whatever time it is wherever you are. Hi, So from France. I've actually got chamomile tea. A bit boring, I know, but I have fun and games trying to get enough sleep. So I try to not have any caffeine after, say, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So boring chamomile. Anyway, so that's me. Hi, Jane. Hi. And yes, it is exciting to be talking to you. Now, I've got a question. I'm not sure if you got my question because I had a bit of trouble getting on. My question is, where's the gin? I know. I'm here on my own, so a bit boring on your own. So, although you're all with me, there's 10 of you. Hi, Annette. Do you like hand sewing? If you saw my my Friday sews, was it on my Friday sews? Well, the garment that I wore, the olive pinafore that I wore, that I finished. Hi, Michelle. Out of the jumper, and the hand stitching that I did on the buttonholes. So my question to you is, do you like hand stitching, or like, do you sew around the edge on your facings? Do you hand sew the hem on your garment? So I'll come back to that in a minute while you think about answering those. What I'm wearing is the willow wrap dress. You've seen this before. This is my newest wrap dress with the pockets. It feels like the wrong colour for winter, so I haven't worn it much. But we're spring now. Spring has sprung. So I've got the old willow wrap dress out. And I did make a size medium. This gorgeous necklace. Am I shouting? This gorgeous necklace. So this is leather, and these are handmade beads. Not sure if you can see those. Can you see those? This is wearable art that I bought at the Margaret River Open Studios 2 years ago, and it goes gorgeous with this because yellow and blue look gorgeous together. Of course, go Eagles. I wanted to mention that also because the Margaret River Open Studios have started today, and they're on for 2 weeks, and they're in the whole district of Margaret River in the southwest of Western Australia. A lot of people who know about Western Australia know about Margaret River. Most people know Margaret River. So I'm going back to your answers. Thank you for answering. I was taught how to do couture garments. Oh, goodness me. Yes, and some of you love the hand sewing. It is very much more a controlled way, especially when you're trying to hem a curve. Thanks, Deb. And I'm not sure what your name is, but I'm not very good at it, but I do give hand sewing a go. Well, I wanted to show you who likes hankies. I am a big proponent of handkerchiefs. This all started when, and I love handkerchiefs anyway. I went to a convent school when I was a kid for a few years, and the nuns used to say, if you don't have a handkerchief, you're not dressed. I know, crazy. So I like to make my own hankies. I've usually got one in a pocket or somewhere, my lady pocket or somewhere up my sleeve. But what I've done since I've been trying to think about the environment and not use tissues and some of those things is make my own hankies. So I like to use beautiful voile or something very, very soft, and I crochet around the edge, and then I do some hand stitching on the, this one's got my initial. So, and I went through a real craze when I was building up my stock, my own personal stock, where I made heaps and heaps of them, gave them away as gifts. But that's quite a few years ago now. And so, oh, hi, Julie, 1958. I didn't recognize your message there. So now it's time to replenish the gifts. It's time for those same people who got the gifts before to get more hankies. So I've got these ready to do some hand sewing. I've drawn on, might be a bit glary, I've drawn on some patterns for me to do some hand stitching. I think they call it stitchery these days. We called it embroidery at school, or hand embroidery. And I did a lot of that on doilies and various things. So I've got all my threads ready in my cute little tin. Who doesn't like a beautiful, adorable tin? How cute. So that is another project that I've got on the go. Those people that have hand sewn, have you seen these? These are, this is that, sorry, something went wrong. This is beeswax, and you get your thread. Hold on. Let me get some thread. My kingdom for some thread. So you get your thread and you pass it through like that, through the beeswax. And then when you thread it through and start to sew, yeah, cool. When you start to sew with it, it doesn't get all tangled up and it sews beautifully. So if you ever, yes, and some of you have said that you've got one of these. How cool are they though? Because you can replace this bit here. Don't know where to buy it from, but I'm sure when the time comes, it's going to take a long time. When the time comes, I will replace that. Yes, Annette, you use one of those things a bit, and it's worth getting it if you do a bit of hand stitching. Those people that do that, either the embroidery or just the hems or the whatever. So I wanted to talk about that. So that's something that I've got in the pipeline. Now, you need good eyes for that. Unfortunately, my eyes are going. And did you see my glasses at the end of that video this week? Did you watch it to the end where I said, how cool are the glasses? I'll show you my new glasses. They're a bit too cool. One moment, please. Hi, Ria. I recognize you. You always make comments. I don't know if you saw these on the end of my video. Check them out. So these are 2+, I think, for reading. So at least I can see what I'm looking at. But I bought them because I thought they were funky, but I didn't look in the mirror. It feels like I'm a cartoon character with the big beady eyes. Absolutely hilarious. But I will use them because they weren't $5 at the chemist. They were a bit more than that. like a lot more. That's those. Now, what else have I got to talk about? Oh, yeah, PDFs. Another question for you. You know, on the this or that recently has been going around and people have been answering that. One of the questions is, do you like PDFs or do you like the patterns and you cut it directly out of the pattern? I've learned to like the PDF patterns now that I've figured out how to stick them together. So particularly love notions. They have it lined up really beautifully, and I'm not even using sticky tape anymore. I use glue. You know the glue stick? I just line it up, or I put the glue on there and then line it up and then just press it. And it's way better than sticky tape from my perspective. So I'm starting to like the PDFs. The only thing that doesn't really grab me about it is that the paper, because it's printed on printing paper, the pattern itself becomes a bit thick. I don't use pins anymore. I use weights. I can show you those too, but that will mean I disappear again. I use just a few weights that I've put together, and then I use the rotary cutter. So I don't have to worry about pinning the PDF pattern onto the fabric. I more put the just the weights around it. And there's a positive of having that thicker paper, because when you go around the edge with the sorry, I keep reading your comments and it's stopping my train of thought. Deb has asked, does the glue stay when you fold it after I've used it? Yes, it does. I don't fold it straight away. I lay it flat on the spare bed till it all dries properly. I think that's helping. What was I saying? Oh, yes, the glue around the edge. Sorry, not the glue. When I cut around the edge with the rotary cutter around the edge of the pattern, when it's a PDF pattern, it's slightly thicker, the paper, so it's actually easier to follow around the edge than a tissue pattern. When I use the rotary cutter around the edge of a tissue pattern, I notice that it's not as stable or not as sturdy or easy to follow, especially the curvy bits. So, and yeah, sorry, forgotten your name again. She's learnt to appreciate PDF, but it does your head in. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll get my patterns copy shop printed quite a bit as well. Yeah, I started off doing that. It was so expensive. And you still have to draw it up anyway. Well, maybe I was doing it wrong. I still had to draw it up because I didn't quite know when, in the early days of using PDFs or those online patterns, I didn't really know that you could select the size. But now that I've figured that out, yes, if I did go to the copy shop, I would go and get it printed AO. The only place I've found around here that does it, that I can walk in and do it, it costs a fortune, Office Works, and it's quite thick paper anyway. So that's what I thought, oh, well, I'm just buying my own printer and I'll print them myself. So that's what I ended up doing. And now I love my PDF patterns. That's a lot of waffle. Now, Jane P., you've said you love PDFs. You get printed in AO and trace them and keep the original as I make different sizes. Yeah. I like to keep the original of everything if I can, hence a cupboard full. So that's that. Oh, look, today, Saturday. I don't know who else does this still. I think it's a hangover from the past, definitely. Saturdays is my cleaning day. So today I was forced into early cleaning because I thought, well, I'll make a cup of something, and I think it was decaf coffee, So I went to get the jar out of the cupboard and it smashed to smithereens, absolutely everywhere. What do they say? From hell to breakfast time. It went everywhere throughout the whole kitchen, the dining room. I'm still finding little tiny bits. I'm not going to wear bare feet or even just stockinged or socked feet. Out with the vacuum cleaner, threw away the whole jar. What a waste. It was organic too. So, and then I started my cleaning early, but yeah, how annoying. The floor I've got is unforgiving, I'll call it. So no matter what you drop on there, it's going to smash. And it was one of those slow motion moments when you can kind of see it going, but there's nothing you can do. It's all happens quick but slow. Anyway, so that started my cleaning for the day. Oh, and I was vacuuming and came into this sewing room thought I'll just run over the floor here. There was a little bit there, but not too much. I'll just run over the floor. And there was a gecko on the floor. And I saw him there a couple of weeks ago and I tried to collect him. It was just near the, where is it? Just near that door there on the floor. And I came in here to drop something off one evening and he was on the floor. I thought, oh my God, okay. Well, I went out of the room to go and get something to collect him. And I came back and was ready to collect him, to take him outside. And he went into the cupboard and disappeared. And then this morning I saw him again. And I thought, oh, well, is it the right thing to do is put him up the vacuum cleaner? That's what I did. I'll let him out again later on, when I finished. But he's got lots of dust, covered in dust. Anyway, the gecko. Not a very nice thing to say, but serve himself right for being born a gecko? Is that nasty? Anyway, poor little gecko. But I don't like them in the house much. I mean, they give me the creeps. It gets in my mind that I'm going to be laying in bed and they'll run over my face. And I always think that about spiders too. It just freaks me out a bit. So I don't care, the fact that they're running around there. I just don't like the idea of them coming over into my bed or falling from the ceiling. My daughter lived in Broome for more than a year. So I went up to see her the first time I ever went to Broome. And for those people that aren't from Australia, Broome is north of Perth, a long way, 2,000 kilometres. I don't know what that is in miles. A long way. A few days journey in the car. Most people fly there. Anyway, first time I'd ever went there, I stayed at their place and it's very muggy there, like very humid. And they have what they call the build up to the wet season. And I went in October. So it was already in the build up. So it was very clammy. Anyway, so there was geckos all crawling up the walls and on the ceiling. And when you went to the toilet, there was a green frog in the toilet. How gross. So that was revolting. So that's the first time I'd really come across those sort of geckos. They're a bit different than ones we get down here in Perth, but it is a bit more humid today. It's kind of sticky. You can feel there's a bit more rain coming. So that's why he was out and about. But anyway, he's got vacuumed. Poor thing. What else have I got on my list? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about my favourite shows at the moment. Oh yes, you lived in Darwin. Oh yes, those frogs in the dunny. Oh dear, yes, Julie. That's gross, isn't it? And no, don't eat the spiders. No. Gross. I'm not scared of spiders. I've got a story about spiders actually. I can remember when I was a kid. I've got an older sister and she really was quite scared of spiders, agoraphobic, I think it is. And she would scream and on a chair and all that every time she saw a spider. And she'd call me, the younger sister, to come and take the spider outside. And I remember we were quite young. I think I was like 11. or something. And one Saturday morning or whatever, we were still in bed, which usually we got up and got going for the day. But one weekend morning or holidays morning, we were hanging around in the bedroom, just still in bed. And I looked over and I saw a huge wood spider about this big. I think they're called a triantula, and they jump. And we were living in the hills south of Perth at the time, in a very small country town, a wood milling town. And so it's the forest, the middle of the forest. So these are wood spiders, and they're very big and they jump, and they're very scary. They're really scary to look at, but apparently they don't hurt you. Anyway, I saw it there above her head. She was laying in bed and it was, up here somewhere. And I said, oh, come over here. Come give me a cuddle. She said, no, don't be stupid. Too old for that. No, come over here. Come over here. She wouldn't. Anyway, I've just kept on. And finally, she came over and got out of her bed. And I said, thank God, you're out of your bed. There's a huge spider there. She screamed, jumped on my bed, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but I always remember that about that big, huge spider. Honestly, it was as big as a saucer. It was quite big. So spiders. How did we get onto that? Favorite shows. I wanted to talk about The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Who has seen that? There's four series. Sorry, what do you call it? 4 seasons. And it's on Prime, Amazon Prime streaming service. If you haven't seen it, go see if you can borrow someone's log on or something. It's amazing. It's a really hilarious show, really, really well done. And the fashion and the costumes the outfit she's got, absolutely fantastic. She's a comedian, and she's on stage, and she doesn't really realize to start with that she's funny, but yeah, it's worth watching or rewatching. So video, Amazon Prime, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The other show that I absolutely love is on Netflix, and I've watched it, I think, 4 times, the whole series. It's Peaky Blinders. Look, there's a lot of swearing in there. There's a lot of killing. There's a lot of nastiness. There's a lot of clandestine meetings in the dark, up dark alleys. But I don't know. There's something about that. I love it. So that's Peaky Blinders, and you're very lucky that I'm not calling it the usual name that I call it, which is the Peaky something Blinders. Don't mess with the Peaky something Blinders. Anyway, who else has watched that? And Anna, you've rewatched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel a few times. Awesome, isn't it? Fantastic. Yeah, good old Peaky Blinders. I haven't seen that. Must be just about time I started watching it again, because it's more than a year since I watched it. So it's time. When I've finished what I'm watching now. I'm currently watching The Americans. Has anyone seen that? That's on Disney. And hi, David Harris. Disney is on loan to me. Someone's given me very kindly shared their login to the streaming service for Disney, and someone else recommended The Americans. Started watching and I thought, wow, this is awesome. This reminds me of Get Smart a little bit, because when I watched Get Smart when we were a kid, it was all that stuff about the KGB and the very scare, all the clandestine meetings and following people and sitting outside and waiting for something to happen. I've got like 2 episodes left, and there's 6 seasons on The Americans. So it comes from the point of view of the KGB. Ah, yeah, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Wonderful fashion in that one, Julie. Yes, I think I've only seen one or two of those. People have raved about that to me. And the other thing that I was going to ask you all is, do you watch those other shows? I'm trying to think what they're called, and I didn't write it down. You know, when, well, obviously the Great British Sewing Bee, that's all of our favourite, but there's those other ones that are on the streaming services. Um, Project Runway is one of them. I've watched all those and a couple of others. So, yeah, they're good too. Good fun. I like those. As soon as they drop, I watch them all. Just one more thing I wanted to talk about. And I also wanted to say thanks for joining me, everyone. This is a lot of fun. I don't know that I can talk for an hour. But I'm planning to try and figure out, this was hard enough. I was trying to figure out how, or will try to figure out how to make it so that we can see each other. Mainly the only way that we can do that might be if we use Zoom, but I think there might be if I can get a special app. So that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, just stay tuned for that one. Oh, it's so you're just watching Mad Men, and haven't you watched that before? Oh my God, that's amazing. I watched that in 2012, I think. Yeah, that's fantastic. The vintage fashion in Mad Men. Gotta love it. What? Who's grandma? Don't know what you're saying there. Yes, just discovered, eh? Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it, Mad Men? Yeah, it's quite a good story too. And you can watch. Interesting with Mad Men how they're all smoking away there at the office, and they're all having drinks at about 9:30 in the morning. What can I get you? And they've got the whole tray of selection of whiskey or vodka or whatever. Just the guys, of course. Yeah, so there's yeah, that becomes very interesting, the Mad Men. I really liked it. It just reminded me that what have you said? Just remembered. Farnay Fisher's Murder Mysteries, the 1920s. Sublime. Yes, Julie. Back to Mad Men. It reminded me, with this smoking at the desk. I remember one of the first full-time jobs I had after I left high school was a typist it was when electric typewriters just came out. Before that, it was the old clunkers. And when I learnt to type, it was on one of those had to push really hard on the keys. But the electric typewriter just came out, and you pressed a button and it would carriage return. I can remember when I learnt you had to go tick, 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 carriage return, ching, and manually do it. With the electric ones, you would be typing and then press a button and it would return, and had a little ball on it with all the letters. Letters of the alphabet. But I can remember I was a smoker then. And I remember I'd be smoking away there, and a coffee drinker, and I'd have my coffee. I'd have my coffee and my fag, and I'd be smoke, put it down, type, ping, fag, drink, top. And the whole office was covered in smoke. It wasn't just from me. Everybody used to smoke in the office. And when I watched Mad Men, I thought, oh my God, that just brings back so many memories. Mad Men is made way before I started working. I'm talking late 70s. Mad Men starts in the 50s and goes through to the 60s. So it's sort of a bit similar. So that's some of the shows that we all love to watch. Now, vloggers. I'm just about out of all my points that I wanted to bring in my chit-chat stuff, but I have to put my glasses on because I've written it that tiny. Alex Judge Sews. Congratulations to Alex, because she's just reached 10,000 subscribers. She's got an amazing giveaway. So if you haven't watched her latest episode, I think it came out today. It's a really, really good prize. So it's worth having a look at her latest vlog. The cloth edit, of course, us in Aussie love our Aussie ones. I've got a couple of knitting ones here listed as well. DB Designs Australia. Deb, you're online, I think, and I love watching your vlogs. The Hay Meadow, that's Hayley in South Australia. Hi to Hayley if you're on, or if you watch later. That's a great vlog as well, for those people that haven't seen these ones. And then we've got the Dahlia Society, and that's an amazing Australian vlog as well, and we all love watching that. As soon as that drops, I put it on. And then, of course, we've got Create Something Pretty, and I'm not sure if you're online there. And so, there's a New Zealander lady called Stacey J's Studio. A lot of you've probably come across her already, and she's hilarious. She's quite the card. So now the couple of knitting ones that I really love is the Perfect Pairing. Perfect as in like pearl, Perfect Pairing. A couple of Aussie Victorian ladies. And their podcast, if you're into knitting, actually just Australian, they have been interviewing some sheep growers and wool growers, and going to different properties, and as well as talking about their makes and everything. So that's really interesting. Another lady that I met at a swap, and I think I mentioned her already another time, is the Knitter's Suitcase, a lovely West Australian lady. And she is an amazing knitter. And my knitting is so basic compared to some of these people. A lovely lady who makes sewing as well as knitting is Whit Makes, W-H-I. Whit Makes, W-H-I-T, Whit Makes. Has anyone discovered her? She does a separated knitting podcast and a sewing, not podcast, vlog, and a sewing vlog. And whereas I put mine all together, I don't chop and change them. Sorry, what am I trying to say? I don't separate them, not chop and change. So there's some of the ones I watch, and it's great to have you all here. And I'm going to say goodbye in a second. Yeah, I know there's a troll on here. I'm not sure how to do it. I'm gonna sign off in a sec anyway. So thanks everyone for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and keep your eye out. We'll run another one of these maybe next month. So until we meet again, stay well, keep sewing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.